3, 2, 1, go.
Welcome to Cooper Hatch Podcast.
Cars. So concept cars are just cars that are like, if we had all the money in the world, what would we be? And so they're made by just mainly big companies, right? Or sometimes you'll get like they've always been kind of crazy, and you can kind of see the styles of like new vehicles coming in through them. And you can also see the technology that companies are looking into. And you'll kind of see trickle-down effects a little bit of just like, oh yeah, this was in this concept car. They're actually using it now. That's kind of cool. But they're not using the car. It's just an idea, right?
Yeah.
That's a great one. That was actually the original design, I believe, for the R8.
That's crazy.
If I remember right on that one.
So this book's a great book.
No, that's the Bugatti version of the R8. Sorry, that thing's fantastic.
This is an Audi.
Yeah, no, but if you look at it, it's actually a Bugatti.
Just with an Audi back.
Yeah, it's got a different grille.
So basically, concept cars are what dealers
Wish they could build.
they could build.
Yeah, so it's like they actually have the money to build the stuff that we're dreaming about, right? So they at least try it once. And you're like, all right, well, thank you.
So it's always a big thing. I think at the Chicago Auto Show, and I think another big auto show in Germany is the reveal of the concept cars.
Okay, so I'm going to put links to all these concept cars, or I guess the 3 concept cars we're talking about, just because they're going to be difficult to find.
You asked me to think of my favorite concept car. And
yes, it's a hard one.
I remember far more concept cars than you do, so I can't even think of my favorite. I mean, there's hundreds of amazing concept cars.
Oh yeah.
The one when you said concept car,
what's the one that popped out?
The 2 that popped up was one car. I don't even know the badge numbers of it. Was Jaguar. Obviously, I'm gonna love a Jag. And then BMW, I think in the 80s, made an insane concept car that I just fell in love with.
We'll find them and put them as on our website, and we'll link the pages and everything, so you guys can see what we're talking about. A little bit vague, but we'll find them. So, what is yours? Yeah, that. Sorry, he's looking through the book, and my ADD is kicking in so hard right now. I'm just saying, oh, pretty.
So one of the biggest ones is the Ford GT40. Oh, which one? The 66. Yeah, the 1966, the one that they did versus Ferrari.
When it was black and white before they did the blue paint job, with the Mark II-ish version. Yeah, that was crazy looking.
And they've also had one at Gumball 3000. They had like one of those.
They had a Gumball?
Yeah, they had like the Gumball logo, everything on it.
That's
I actually have a
pretty
little
cool.
replica in my room of the Ford GT40.
That's sick.
It's like white.
Okay,
has,
so
like,
why that car? What's the reason that stands out to you?
Kind of really is the one main reason is because that's the only main car I could think of recently.
Okay.
The other is knowing how far forward with their Ford GTs have came. Like if you think about from 1966, I think, or maybe sooner, but from there till 2016, 2017.
I mean, even now we have even the new one. It's completely different, but it's still the same thing.
You know, my favorite Ford GT they make is the one that it's just raw metal. Is it made out of stainless or?
We saw
it at the Shelby dealer 2 years ago. It was just a regular Shelby, but it was
just an unpainted Shelby.
But
it was a raw metal.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's just the silver paint.
Yeah, it was like it kind of had like a DeLorean look to it.
Yeah,
like the Back to the Future, how it had like that. Oh man, that car doesn't even have paint on it. It was that.
So it was either made out of aluminum or stainless
I don't remember on that part.
I don't remember what it was. I just remember walking through and just seeing the pure metal, and then they put the racing stripes with like brushed.
Yeah, they took like a sander to it.
Body, but the racing stripes were brushed. So it's metal on metal. But
I have a picture of this one. Okay, So they only took like it would be probably a low grit sandpaper just down the center, and that's how they did their stripe, is by sanding it and then clearing that rather than like painting a stripe.
It was awesome. Anyway, off the subject. Sorry.
So it's basically that's just like
the evolution of it. Of how it became.
I'll have to show you mine. It's made by Volkswagen. It's called the Concept T. and it's a two-door doom buggy that they made in like the 2000s, and the spare tire literally takes up what would be the rear seats.
Aren't those the ones that like people make those big like cool wide bodies and then have like the
exhaust,
like the big one?
No, because that's a Baja bug. But the reason they made the Concept T is because of the Baja bug. So you're correct in a way.
In a certain way, yeah.
So like when I tag it, you'll see it and you'll be like, okay, it's kind of nutty when you. I don't even know. It has like this like alien looking vibe to it. It's really interesting.
There's been several of the car companies that have come up with a little buggy concept car, and I wish they would make them. They're so cool, little 2-seater.
The Pontiac one was so cool. It was a roll cage. It didn't it had windows, but it was just a roll cage and windows. Yeah, so like. You would just see bars. It's like a Jeep, but like solid.
All I'm imagining is like that thing in Jurassic Park that kids used to see from the dinosaurs. Is
yeah, it's pretty much that, and it's hardcore.
All right,
like it's so sick.
Yeah, just growing up in California, and my uncle, we had to always borrow his little doom buggy, and it just those little street buggies have just always been part of my life.
Buggies are just cool.
See, that's actually a car I always wanted to get when I was a young kid. I think I was probably like 9 or 10. I always wanted an old dune buggy.
Oh yeah, and the Manx, how they have curvies. Oh yeah, that's
all I ever wanted.
That's on my list. Someday I will have one.
You know what? You can still want it as an adult. That's crazy.
I don't know how to drive a manual.
You can. It's easy.
I know, but I've never learned how to drive manual.
Oh,
you never learned?
I've never learned.
Okay, listen. My ex-husband took me to a parking lot, and he said, "You're driving us home." And he would not let me leave the parking lot until I figured out how to drive home. And can I tell you, it was one of the best lessons I ever learned in my life. Because if I'm ever stuck, I'm always going to be able to drive any vehicle.
Okay, I may want to change subjects midstream on this, because earlier you talked about we were somewhere, in St. George, preparing to go in a parade, and the Corvette Club was there. And then obviously guys with gray hair like me driving Corvettes. Tell them that story, the kid walking by.
The one the kid with the electric car?
Yeah.
So we're just getting ready, prepped in the parking lot and whatnot, and the Corvette Club, there's one in every city, is just chilling right there, and obviously you're admiring him, like, oh man, it's all the same Corvette, but that one, it's got personality because of this, right? And then there was a couple Teslas that were there. And this kid walks by and he's like checking out the Corvettes, and I'm thinking, cool, like a little kid checking out the Corvettes. He's like, man, why would anyone buy one of those when you can buy a Tesla? I have never wanted, I was so sad that my heart just went into my stomach, but at the same time I was just like, you disrespectful little, I don't know how I was sad and angry at the same time.
So
I love kids like that.
I'm 58, about to turn 59, and never even thought.
You look 47. Not a day over.
It's the Grecian formula. I never even dreamed of owning an electric car until Alpha came out. They're not even producing them, I don't think, yet. But look up, we talked about the Alpha out of LA. I would drive one of those because they're cool, but that's off the subject. As a 58-year-old, I understand why people drive electric cars, but I didn't ask how old you are. You're not a lady, so I can ask you. What's your viewpoint of the electric car industry coming in versus the gas motors? Because what's your favorite car? If you were just to go buy your favorite car today, what would you be driving, and why? I think that was one.
I wish. No, this is actually one of my main ones on my bucket list of wanting to own is a '69 Dodge Charger RT.
Ooh,
old American.
That's a chunky boy.
What's awesome is that it's also my mom's dream car as well. Oh. She had one in college before she destroyed it. Yeah, she got into an accident or something with it, and it was a certain purple.
It gives you an excuse to build one.
Yeah.
So, in your dream car, when I'm thinking of that Challenger RT, I'm thinking the 440 or the 426 Hemi. So we're talking about cars with huge motors that pump out. Those are well over 400, even though they lied about it on the paperwork.
Yep.
They were pumping out way more than 400 back in the day. Why would you pick something like that versus this kid his dream car is a Tesla, And not necessarily just a Tesla, but an electric car, or that whole concept of the electric car.
That's a great question.
So from a young person's perspective, looking at the car world, the car scene, and obviously you know a lot of players in the Utah car scene.
Oh yeah.
So what's your thoughts of, like, we were in Vegas a few months back, and we were in a Tesla, and we went to charge it, and there was like 10 super souped up Teslas, cool paint job, cool wheels, slammed. I mean, these cars, I'm looking at them going, those are beautiful. I appreciate the work.
They have a lot of personality individually, which is kind of weird.
As a young person, like Elon Musk is telling us he might take us to Mars. Why wouldn't I drive a Tesla if I wanted to go to Mars?
That's a great point. I've never really looked at it that way.
If he's going to bring in the technology that's going to take us into space on an adventure.
Because in my day, when we'd go from San Diego to Utah, we had to carry extra water. We had to turn the air conditioner off going up the Grapevine because the car was going to overheat. On the side of the road were big barrels of water for when you overheated. Cars were not that reliable. You couldn't get from here to there without overheating or something, blowing a fan belt or whatever. You just planned on stopping somewhere for car repair.
On the other end of that, though, it's not like you can break down in a new car and take your shoelace and turn it into a fan belt.
It's just a total different perspective of how you look at cars. You didn't grow up, 72 Camaro came out, the cars you dream of and you see, I remember seeing on the showroom floor as a kid. So it's just a whole different perspective of looking back. Oh, those are all old clunkers, and now what's moving forward. So,
and I'll tell you this: a lot of people actually tell me why get old American muscle or old Japanese cars or whatever. Why not just go for a Tesla? Like, I've been in a Tesla. I know what the Force is like the G-Force. I'm not really a fan of it. But I have a buddy of mine. I have a buddy that his boss owns 3 Teslas and a Bolt.
And a Bolt?
Yeah.
He probably drives the Bolt the most.
He does. I
guarantee he does.
He actually does. And
it's the most efficient one out of all of those, dude. That thing's incredible. That Chevy nailed it on that car. That is a underdog of a
I've actually
commuter.
been in that Bolt before, and that car's actually way more fun than the actual Tesla.
Yeah, the Bolt's awesome.
But
if you're not familiar, that's Chevy.
It's an electric car that they have.
Chevy's electric car.
They were like the 3rd company that went to electric, because BMW was first. And
there's been electric cars back in the 30s, so it's not like it's a new concept. It's just the first time it's had money backed behind it.
So I just think it's interesting that the Tesla is the dream car of so many young people.
Yeah.
But they don't have the history or the knowledge of
where old American muscle, or
like
old cars that we grew up
what's a weird?
What we kind of grew up with.
What's weird is that they're connecting way more with like the technology part of it, and that's where I disconnect. But I'm so connected, and it sounds like you are with the GT, with the heritage in the history behind these vehicles, and that's why we love them. So it's interesting that the history is now just kind of being almost not pushed aside, but we're round 2 in it, right? So it's gonna, in the history books, Elon's gonna go down in the car world as the first mass-produced electric vehicle. That's pretty huge. He's going to be that's a Henry Ford move. Yeah. But on the other end, he also doesn't have as much money as Ford, Dodge, all the actual car companies. So I'm like, I think he's gonna be like back in the day when there was all these super rare, like an Aston Martin DB, right?
Gosh.
Ooh,
see one of those would be super rare,
right? But I feel like a Tesla at some point could be that car, because they're gonna get outclassed most likely pretty quick because of all the money that's backed on these other ones, which then makes them more niche and valuable based off rarity.
Well, it's like when I was up in Canada a few months back. There was a commercial for the Cadillac Electric Car. It's absolutely beautiful, and it's a Caddy, so it's got to be luxurious. And they were asking, I think, like $60K for it in Canadian.
That's
And I'm
so
like-
like 75 here,
So,
maybe
something
80.
something like that.
you know, compared
Almost
to
like
the
80.
top of the line other electric cars,
That's not bad.
that competes. You know, I'm like, if I was in that range looking at those cars, I would be looking at the Caddy over the Tesla because I mean, you have so much comfort. You know, I mean, it's a Cadillac. It's going to have the nice.
Well, okay,
plush leather
and
seats.
thinking about it as a older person trying to get into an electric car, because at some point you're going to have one, right?
Yeah.
So what brand are you going to go with? Tesla, because your grandson's telling you it's fantastic, or Caddy because it's been around forever.
Yeah.
They're probably going to go move towards Caddy because they're more comfortable with, oh, I know Caddy. This is great. Or like Jag's got a fantastic one coming out too. You can't tell me a Jag enthusiast is going to choose a Tesla over a Jag now. It's never going to happen. You just have now these just people that are, we talked about this in the previous episode, that are company bias. And so whatever that company pumps out, they're going to do that. And those people have been dedicated to that company way longer than they've had the idea of an electric car. So why would they change?
So where do you think it's going from here? Because you asked me that a few weeks ago. Where's the car in this world going from here? What's your thoughts on that?
I kind of seen that they're gonna go more with electric, but I feel like they're gonna get like old like Shelby's or whatever, and they're gonna put them as like a full electric. So they'll like get the old bodies and then build them as a full electric. That's what I kind of think. Because like I
haven't thought about that in a modification world way.
Yeah.
I haven't thought about how to use electric cars to modify. And like you hear about swaps, but I've never.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
I mean, truly,
Okay.
somebody at SEMA made a V8 motor inside of a Tesla at one point.
Oh yeah,
that thing
that
is so
one's
cool.
great. That one's great.
And the thing is though,
They put a
like-
Corvette motor inside of a Tesla body, and then they hit the exhaust, so it just looked like a bone
Regular-
stock Tesla.
yeah. But it's
Freaking
actually
fantastic.
But I truly think they're gonna get old cars, like whatever old car they can think of. Heck, they could probably make an old Ford GT40 again and make it as full
So
electric.
you think they're just gonna
get old bodies
like,
and make it full electric
so basically just revamp everything and just start over?
for the body and then make it all electric on the inside? That's what I think. But
That's not a terrible idea, actually.
like I don't think it'll be that bad, but the fact that a lot of people are gonna leave America if Tesla takes it fully over. A lot of the car enthusiasts are gonna take their cars, move to Europe or Australia or to Japan.
Oh,
or
you're
something.
saying if they pass stuff like, well,
Yeah.
we can't have gas cars
Yeah.
and whatnot. Okay. Yeah.
I truly
can see
think,
that.
but I truly think they'll make old Shelby's, like I said, old Shelby's, old Dodges, old whatever, and just make them full electric, but have the same body, but just full.
There's a lot of looks like there's a lot of thoughts going on back
Yeah.
I do have a lot of thoughts.
Bring it in.
Go ahead and ask.
Bring
I'm okay with it.
modification, I was like, well, what's that going to do for the world of modification if everything's electric? Because I feel like part of the car enthusiast is you do like to take apart your cars and put them back together.
Because we do.
Right,
Yeah.
you do. It's like part of like the whole car thing is to take things apart and put it back together. So I was like, I wonder what that would do for modification. I do also wonder if we are going to be pushed into a place where we are not using vehicles and using electric vehicles because laws could pass and stuff like that. But I think that we always have things like that are always going to be around, and no matter if it's banned, like we had when alcohol was banned, there was still alcohol.
Prohibition.
You know, there's always going to be
I'm
those
willing
things
to
that are
admit
still
this
around.
right now, and you can give me a ticket later. I'm keeping my freaking Subaru. You're not taking it. I'll keep my car. I built it. My blood, my
There's
passion.
actually, and what's actually cool, there's a company at the Provo Mall. They actually get old like Shelby's on it. There's a guy that's working on an old Shelby, and he's actually building an electric motor inside of the Shelby.
What the heck? Okay.
Well, it's actually really cool.
Well, see,
That's
I think
so
as
interesting.
technology advances, we have to advance with it. I think that
Oh,
that's
yeah, for
kind
sure.
of part of the thing. And so
See,
as it advances with cars, don't we kind of evolve and change with that and
Oh,
grow
yeah.
on top of that instead
You're
of
telling me I have to learn the part about cars that I'm the worst with right now.
I think that we all have to grasp
Electricity.
technology. And a little bit more
Electricity to
and
me
grow
is black magic. I
Yeah.
don't understand it. It just is. Okay, cool. It's out there. I appreciate it. I don't want to learn it, but I will. And I feel like a grumpy old cuss right now. I feel like such an old man saying this. I'm learning it purely out. I'm pissed. That's what it's.
No.
That's basically what it is.
How do you think?
I'm not even 30 yet.
What do you think I
I'm
feel?
20, almost 21, and that.
Oh my
No,
cow.
man.
Okay, so I think we all have kind of the same general thoughts on this and whatnot. Carson, any thoughts or just agreement?
I look at your face, you got something.
Yeah, she said it all, you know.
Nailed it. Cool. Okay, so
it's like that. Wasn't it?
okay.
Wasn't it iRobot that was all electric, and then he breaks out?
Yeah,
Oh,
breaks
yeah.
out the motorcycle.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's gonna be me. 100%. I mean, I wish I
seen
could.
that movie in forever.
It's a little scary
So-
to watch right now. Let me tell you.
Yeah.
I watched it and it kind of freaked me out.
Yeah. Okay,
Oh,
so
Yeah.
I haven't seen it in
we've got one more
Oh,
question.
okay.
What would be your dream build as of right now? So you said your dream car, but give me like, we assumed what it would be.
Is
But
that-
why are you building it?
Is that on his budget, or if you won the lotto tomorrow? Is it building broke? Is he building broke, or is he just building his?
So
Let's
dream
go in the
car?
middle. You have 80K.
Oh, shit.
And you're gonna dream car. You can buy it. You can build it.
Listen, we don't budget our dreams. Why would we budget?
What if his dream is above?
No.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second.
Well,
Okay.
I guess the
Your
question
reasonable
is,
build.
Yeah. If,
What's your realistic build?
well, and that's why.
Because
you
I
have
guess
to put
dream.
that
I'm like,
because-
yes, slap some wings on it.
Well, there's a lot of cars. I have 10 cars I want in my dream garage when I get older. But the second main one I really want to get is an 08 350Z,
Oh, okay.
which is also a manual. But I'm actually also thinking of getting a 96, 97 to an 04 Mustang GT 5.0 later down the road.
Oh man. Okay. That is
You-
tough. Okay, so
Yeah.
let's go with the Z. What's the dream build for the Z? Because I feel like that can get more.
So, I actually have I want to do something like, so I saw this other guy on Instagram that he actually has a picture of it. It has like can't think of the word in my head anymore. Crap.
I thought that just
The
happened
VQ?
to old
No.
people.
No. I can't think, sorry.
I'm feeling a little better right now.
This is a car guy when they can tell you about their dream build. When you don't ask them, we'll give you every single detail down to the type of bolt. The moment you ask them, they're like,
So
Legos.
I'll take the body.
Like, I don't know.
So first, this is the body kit. The body kit is a Liberty Walk kit. I
Oh.
want to do that so bad,
Classic combo.
but I want to put like the hexagon
The headlights.
no for the wrap.
Oh,
Like the-
that'd be cool. So
Like
they,
hexagon.
yeah,
box-
so they had to do like the honeycomb pattern.
Yeah, those.
Okay.
But do it as a like bright blue on one side, and then like it starts fading into like a black. Like it goes from
Ooh.
bright blue, goes to lighter, and then goes to like a gray, and then goes to
Okay.
complete.
No, I can see
all
that.
together.
That would look great. That
Because blue is like one of my favorite
and
colors.
the hexagons. That car is so round that the hexagons would actually kind of flow with
Yeah.
it too, and I might make it look like an actual honeycomb actually, because the honeycomb is
I
kind
can
of
totally
like
see
folded.
that.
That's
I
kind
can
of
totally see
cool.
that. But you know, it's
Bees landing on it, thinking it's their house.
but no, it's actually one of the biggest things. I've always dreamed about having a 350Z since I was
It's-
like 2012,
It's a
2013.
great
as a kid.
body style. Like they're phenomenal. So what would be? Are you sticking rear wheel drive, all wheel drive?
I'm gonna do all-wheel drive, only because there's certain things I would like to do it. I've seen cars do it in an all-wheel drive. So like a Lamborghini SVJ, when they do donuts, all tires are spinning instead of just the back ones or the front ones, and it's all forward, and it's just so much fun.
Okay, so if you're going all-wheel drive, since the Z did not come as an all-wheel drive, does that mean you'd go to a GTR swap?
Most likely.
My brain
That would be
was just
insane.
my brain was just picturing the mechanics and the G forces of those drive shafts and getting those to get all four wheels
All fours
to turn.
just
No,
spinning with
and
it.
I'll tell you this: you're gonna think a 350Z is gonna be hard. Do it in a Lamborghini SVJ, and DDE can actually prove they actually did this at SEMA this past year with their SVJ, and it spun, but then the rear axle or something like that destroyed, and so they had to get it towed all the way back to
So the
California.
SVJ is just like it's a monster version of a Lamborghini, right? This thing's just like, let's take a Lamborghini and have it snort something that it's not supposed to and see what happens. And then you just get this. Okay, so basically GTR all-wheel drive swapped. honeycomb, blue honeycomb on the 350Z. That's a great build. I love that.
I'm actually more curious what the other 9 cars are. Well, the other 8.
You guys don't want me to list them?
Listen real quick because we're getting towards the end.
Okay, so all 10. A 69 Dodge Charger RT, 350Z, a Lamborghini Aventador Coupe, and a Roadster.
Okay.
Frick.
Hardtop versus convertible.
Yeah. I should have explained that. Yeah, I should have done that. And
right,
a BMW, the 96 version, or not 96, 96, the E86.
Lightweight edition?
Yes.
Yep.
A 6x6 G Gladiator. I've always wanted one of those.
Yeah.
Ever since I saw the Strap and build his, it's always been my big
That thing's
thing.
ridiculous.
I love it.
That's here in Utah. It's a giant purple one.
Oh, it's the best.
The Jeep was 6 tires on.
And what's actually scary,
2
having a
rear.
third axle for those, and when you're turning, it's so much.
Oh no,
It's so much harder.
That thing is longer than it's like an actual dealership.
So
There's no way you can turn it.
Built that.
Yeah.
So actually, him and mostly Agility Customs mostly built
Do you
it.
remember when we lived in St. George? We were out crawling one day, and this dude came out with a big old monster 6x, and I think he had a plane or a helicopter to film it. I wonder if that
I don't
was-
remember
I
that,
wonder if was
honestly.
him.
But
Oh, you were little. But anyway, I was just blown away. Some dude showed up with more money than.
oh no, this is like a brand new Gladiator.
Yeah, this
Okay,
is the
so
new
no,
one. This
this
is the
is not him.
2020. This is the 2021 Gladiator.
What number on?
8, 7 or 8. H2 Hummer, because that was my very first vehicle I ever saw.
Yes.
That was my very first vehicle. That's actually how I got into the car community, was because of H2 Hummers.
Red.
And my best friend actually had one as a kid. His parents had one.
Probably one of the most useless vehicles.
Oh, the
on
thing
planet.
has-
but
it's
they're
ridiculous,
they're
but it's
The
so
wheels
good.
that you put on it, and I know everybody's gonna give me, well, why get that? Why not get this instead? I'd rather have that because what you can do with the wheels and like certain things on it.
Well, they're
And I
cool.
just love
it.
They're cool.
They're
but
great.
It was just a created to be a bling car.
Well, they were so much fun.
Oh yeah, that was
When I saw
the
them around-
G wagon before the G wagon was a G wagon. Like
Exactly.
And so we're down 9 now. So
yeah. So what's your last one?
Oh gosh, what
What's
was
the
it?
cherry on top?
The biggest one I want to get. You ready for it?
Yeah. No.
Bugatti
Yeah.
Veyron.
Oh yeah. Well, just buy Stradman's. He's selling it.
Yeah, for 1.3 million, I'll go totally buy it.
Perfect.
But a Veyron would be very, very cool to have. I actually would want one.
The gas bill would be ridiculous. That thing.
Yeah, it's like what, almost 200 just.
Yeah, that thing full
tank?
throttle will it can't even make it all the way around the Nurburgring on one tank of gas if you full throttle it.
Wow.
How long?
Or I think it can only go around the Nurburgring once or something
Once.
like that.
I think it's once.
Because yeah, it had to be at least once, and then they would refill because that's how they set the not land speed record, but speed record for the track.
So if you don't know,
yeah.
Nuremberg is a track over in Germany that is kind of like there's companies that make
Nurburgring specific
editions. Yeah, I can't even say the word.
So basically, they'll build like a special edition of their car. They'll send it to Nurburgring, and then they do it. They run it through the track. So the Nurburgring version of my Subaru is called the Type R. So you can get a WRX Type R, and then that's how you know it was a Nurburgring edition. So, but it'll be different names and stuff like that, and there'll be different track names if they tested it on different tracks too. So they just are like, oh yeah, we made a performance one. It's something like that.
If you're breaking records there, that's breaking automotive history.
Yeah, yeah, and then you can just buy that spec because you know what? Have a race car. Like why not? But your list is fantastic. That's the H2 is my favorite. I
have
it's
more
ridiculous.
cars. I have more cars.
Oh,
but
trust me. If
eventually one day I will get them all.
as a baby car guy, your list will just keep going. So
Yeah.
don't think it's gonna end. But thank you for coming out. We're gonna miss you. But it'll be cool to see what you can do in Mississippi and just see the changes. And then for sure when you come back, you know you've got a place here.
Yeah.
But
I would love to come on a podcast when I come back.
Yeah, what's your tags and everything for them so they can follow you?
So my YouTube is just Donovan Chance, which obviously there'll be links below to all of it. My Instagram is Donovan_Chance01 to my Instagram, and I don't use Snapchat as much, but I do it once in a while. It's just Donovan Chance, but without the E, and it has a 20 at the end.
Perfect. We'll get all those linked in, but again, thank you, and we hope you have a great adventure out there, dude. It'll be
Thanks.
fun.